Hello, welcome to Luke Trades Trading channel, where I am trying to figure out whether I can turn trading into my full-time income. I'm trading from Australia and I'm trading US market, so it's a little bit challenging due to the time difference, and because of that I primarily trade pre-market hours, which is late nights for me, and recently I started testing the waters during after-hours sessions. So today I did a few trades after hours, and I'll show you all the trades and entries and exits, and I also record all of them as long as I remember to press the record button. But yeah, I got it all today more or less, and let's jump into it. So we had 2 cold weeks of the market, and especially this week, Wednesday, Thursday was terribly cold and there was nothing there. So, you have 2 options in those scenarios. First option is to take B quality trades and hope that they're gonna work out and exit as soon as possible. Don't hold for too long. And the second option is not to trade at all and just kind of wait it out. Well, I chose the first option. On Monday I had some success, but then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, not so much. So today, Friday, I did not expect too much. All that frustration from the whole week was kind of growing in me, even though I wasn't fully aware of it, but I made few mistakes because of that. Because normal trades that I would take during the hot market and would work really well during the cold market not only do not work, but they reject instantly and push you down in red. When I started trading on Friday, I didn't expect too much, and only one thing popped up, a Chinese stock, JDZG. So I started recording. This is right after the entry, and I this is not a trade I'm proud of. It's very, even though it worked, it's a very bad trade, and I just want to forget about it. It was pushing down, obviously, as everything else during the call market, but I saw that it's starting to curl, and I thought, you know what, I'll just take that risk and see, maybe it pushes over VWAP and then maybe even higher. So I entered around here. I forgot to press the record button, but as soon as I entered, right after that, I just press it a minute later actually. After that red candle here, that's where I entered around 255 with a little bit of slippage, and just gonna rewind it quickly. The trade almost instantly started to pull back, rejected, and as soon as I saw this candle here, I'm back up a little bit, this candle here, I was like, nah, this is just not gonna work. Now I'm waiting for my exit, and my exit is at 235, the bottom of this candle here. So I'm waiting for that exit and thinking to myself, you know what, I'll let it play out. If it goes to 235, I exit. If it doesn't, I'll let it play. And it went down, but it didn't touch 235. So I'm like, okay, let's just watch. And that was a long wait. It started pulling back up. I was, yeah, again, this is not something I'm proud of. I held it way too long, and just luck, really. So I missed time it, because if I enter around here, then maybe I would be okay with it, but even then it was very slow, as you can see. But eventually it started getting some strength. It reached the VWAP, again another pullback. It reached the VWAP, and here I was paying a lot of attention, because that's more or less when I'm break even. It broke through VWAP and it went all the way to 262, so 255, it's 7 cents up. And here is where I am paying a lot of attention, and I'm thinking to myself, either it will get a lot of momentum and push up and squeeze up very fast, or it's gonna reject. And because it's a cold market, I was betting for the latter. So as soon as it got to around here, this is where I exited my first batch. So I saw that it's kind of stalling around 264, so I punch exit for 56 shares. And I thought, I'll give it a little bit more time. Maybe it pulls a little bit higher, but it didn't. So I exited with the second amount, and there you go, 255. That's around 6 to 7 cents, 6.5 cents. $10. I thought to myself, all right, I'll take it. I shouldn't take that trade at all, but I'll take the $10. And then it started pulling back, etc. And I was waiting till around 6 a.m. and for me that's 10 p.m. and decided there's absolutely nothing going on. There's no point of me sitting here on Friday, the coldest week so far of this year, and Friday probably not going to be different. So I went to sleep, and when I was sleeping, things started to heating up, and I missed all of that. And there was a stock called, which I checked in the morning when I woke up, LEC, that gave us a tremendous move. This is something unusual for cold market, and usually moves like that are what is changing the trajectory of the market. So from cold we could easily go to hot, and I missed. Look at that. This is a very, very big squeeze from around $6 to 13. So this was an amazing trade, and it happened at started around 8:20 till around 9:45. So for me it's around 12 a.m. and 1 a.m., which, you know, I decided to go to sleep. And when I woke up in the morning around 7:30, which is right before the after hour sessions, and I saw this, I thought, oh wow, I think the market is heating up. So what I was saying before in a previous video, that when the market is cold, I should be backing up, and I should be trading as little as possible and as defensively as possible. While when the market is heating up, I should be more aggressive and trading more. So I took my own advice here, and that's what I did. And when I woke up, I saw this stock squeezing called RIME. Now, the first trade on RIME was just stupid. I was just too excited, and I thought, oh my god, the market's going up. As you can see, this one pulled really nicely as well from around $1. You know, that was yesterday actually, but no, that was today. So that was at the end of the day session, 2 p.m. it squeezed from $1 to $6.20. That's crazy move. And we had nothing the whole week like that. So to me, this is an indicator that things are heating up and I should be a little bit more aggressive. Unfortunately, the first trade I took on it was a stupid trade, and I'll show you on the 1 minute here. So the first trade I took on it was here at 426. Here's what happened. It squeezed up and I saw that it's got some strength, and then it started pulling away, and I was watching this level here because that's when it stopped and started curling back up. So my idea was, actually I'll show you as I saw it, my idea was that when it was gonna curl back down, go through view up and squeeze all the way up. That was my idea. I thought, wow, this can really pull away. So I entered here with 140 shares at 323, and unfortunately this didn't work, and it wasn't a A quality setup. I probably shouldn't have taken it, but you know what, most of the trades through this week was B quality, so I thought it's worth the risk. It pulled back to slightly lower below this level and I had to exit. I had to exit because this was I really exited even lower because of the slippage, but this was my pretty much max loss on this trade. It pulled back down, and then exactly what I wanted happened, but it was too late for me. So it squeezed all the way to 530 from $3. So to me, if I actually, you know, obviously this is just talking woulda shoulda, but if I have waited a little bit more and entered here, it would not only erase all the mistakes from the week, but gave me a nice profit. But I didn't. I said you should be more aggressive when the things are heating up. I just took not very good trade here. It wasn't exactly as I should have, but you know, it's okay because it squeezed up, and then when I thought, all right, now I'm going to try to milk it a little bit more because I see strength in it. So I was trading it all the way in this region, and I can show you some of those trades. So I forgot to press record again, but this is right after I entered. Here I have PNL already 540. My entry was at 510, which was almost 10 cents slippage. That's how fast it was pulling. I entered and I saw very quick squeeze, what I like to see, and then I'm waiting for, you know, for another new high. But because the big move already happened, I needed to be careful, so didn't want to hold it for too long. As you can see, I'm just gonna speed this up a little bit. As you can see, it went up to 530 around here. It went up to 530, and then I was looking at the bigger squeeze, because to me that move meant there's a lot of momentum and it can squeeze all the shorts and we can go all the way to 6, which happened later, but not yet, not just yet. So when I saw this, that 530 is not squeezing through and I saw resistance, I was like, you know what, let's just jump out of this. It might not be as hot as I think it is. So as you can see, it's kind of pulling down, 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 and then here is where I exit 5.15. You know, I was like, yeah, this is probably not the moment, so I took 5 cents off this, but I can see it's still strong. So the next trade happened around here, and I already entered again, forgot to press record, but you know, just right after entry you see 5.28 and I am in the trade, and it's first, it's I think I had a bit of slippage, so it's not really working too well. I can see it started to squeeze. I went to break even and suddenly I go in green. And here is where I'm starting to partially exit. So first 50 shares down at 5.37, and it shouldn't be 50 shares, it should be 30 shares. I wanted to sell 1/3 here, but you can't pretty much use percentages with Webull International, so I have to calculate shares each time I'm entering the trade, how much I can buy, how much to sell. So I have to manually enter that each time right before the trade, and sometimes I forget to set everything up. So I forgot to set up my sell to 30%. It should be 26 here. Nevertheless, I exited with 50 shares, so I have 30 left. It's pulling up, and I saw that squeeze to 260, and that's when I was like, all right, let's take it off the table. So the second trade was really nice, although majority exited only 12 cents above, but still good. I got here 255. That's, you know, over 25 cents, almost 30 cents on that second one. The first one 12, so around 20 cents per share, not bad. And then the third trade, you know, and then things started to slow down. Obviously the stock was already extended. We're going further deep in the after hours session, so I'm thinking, oh, this is where you really need to be careful. And because, you know, it's already, volume is getting lower and lower, and we're looking at my last trade around 6.40ish, right? So let me find the entry. That's another curl I'm looking at, and I want to enter around 5.02, but I got filled for 4.99, which is great. You know, that rarely happens with Webull. Anyway, I entered and I see some squeeze straight away, so that's very good timing. That's exactly what I like to see, except we're seeing smaller volume because it's, you know, pretty late already. More and more traders just quitting and closing their day, so there's not much to hope for, but there's still some strength. So I'm waiting patiently for my trade, and it started pulling, and when it pulled to around 10 cents plus, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna start exiting this position. So here I got 12 cents on the, and this time I changed the setting, so you can see 30 shares here. I exited 12 cents and I'm waiting whether it will go to 5.20, but you know, I don't see that strength anymore, and I'm thinking, no, maybe we should exit. So this is more or less when I am, and then I started pulling back, and I was like, nah, this is not gonna work, it's time to go. And 5.04, so 5 cents on the second batch, and right after that, you know, the volume went down and the trade started going red. So great, good timing for me. And you know, and that's pretty much it. There is one more video here, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, okay, I took one more trade, so there's one more, I guess, last one, and then I saw this beautiful squeeze. I'm already in it, right? So here we go. So the last one I bought at 5.10 again. I thought one more ride, and let's see what happens. You know, I took it all the way to, and this is very late. It's almost 7 p.m. So, you know, you don't expect too much. First, when I got to 24, so 14 cents, my first target, I exited. I got filled at 5.22. You know, thanks Webull, but it's good anyway. And then I'm waiting whether it's gonna squeeze higher, and as it got to 5.27, I think, there you go. This is where I'm almost ready to exit. We see 5.22, 5.23, 5.25, and I'm like, all right, let's go. 26. So I 27, and I was like, that's it. So you see 27, 26, I exit, I sell, and I got filled at 24. You know, again, Webull is pretty slow, so you have to expect that. And this time I did it right. because I had 80 shares and I split it in three more or less even batches. Right before the trade I have configured that, and you can see the last one I'm holding, but I'm starting to doubt it's gonna go any further. There you go. So I sell it here with a price of 520, I believe. Yes, 520. So it just didn't pull up, and right after that it started pulling down. So right after that we saw just going down. It didn't go too far, because if we can take a look at that stock, Rhyme, that's the only thing I traded today. It's now hanging above VWAP and might have another squeeze right before the closing. As you can see, big green candle, Now, if you look at the 5-minute, it doesn't look so good anymore. But remember, this is the last day of a cold week, so usually when that happens and there's another day of trading tomorrow, let's say, so if it was Thursday, that would be a really good sign, because we would potentially could take that momentum and carry it over to the next day. But because we have 3 days off now, that's probably not gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen really, but I would feel more confident if there was, instead of Saturday, there was Friday tomorrow, or I don't know, any other day than a weekend. But because we have Saturday, Sunday and Monday off, Monday is a public holiday, so we're going to come back to trading on Tuesday, and that 3 days can cool things down again. So that's it, I guess, for this recap. And what can I say? There was a lot of lessons this week. My PNL for the week is not looking too good, because that first mess up I did on an after-hours session took me down to around $50, and then I was just trying to recoup all the losses, and I didn't eventually got it all, but it's good enough. Definitely this whole week was a big learning experience for me. I tightened my rules. I learned a little bit more about cold market, and I think going to the next week, hopefully I'll be more defensive at first, and then if things start to heat up, I'll be more aggressive again. And that's all I can say. So I'm glad this is happening while I'm still trading with small positions, because if that was 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, then, I would be in trouble. But that's why I suggest, if you want to start up and start trading, you should start with very small positions. And in fact, my first month, I was trading with 10 shares per trade. So that requires a lot of discipline and a lot of willpower. But at the same time, it's better to make those mistakes on a small positions, right? And then you slowly take it up. But anyway, we'll see what the next week brings. So far in red, but that's okay. That's all right. It's not a drama. I think we can still get it back. And if the market will actually heat up, then, there's a lot of opportunities there. And with tighter rules, with more discipline that I gained through this week, I think we're just gonna grow from there. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you on Tuesday.